The Last Dinosaur brought Jurassic Adventure to TV in 1977, decades before Spielberg. This bizarre Japanese-American film featured laser drills, a cunning T-Rex, and chaos behind the scenes. Today, you're getting 10 wild facts about its strange production and dark ending.
I'm going up in front and see what the boys are doing. Look at that.
Number 10. The genius Stalker T-Rex. This wasn't your average stomping lizard that just crashed through trees and roared at everything that moved. The Tyrannosaurus in this film hunted like a calculated serial killer, singling out specific crew members and actively stalking the camp during the night hours when humans were most vulnerable. But here's the kicker that elevates this creature to genius-level villainy. When it discovered their escape vehicle, the massive polar borer drill ship, it literally dragged the multi-ton machine back to its lair and buried it under rocks and debris. That's right, this dinosaur understood the concept of imprisonment and preventing escape. Most movie monsters just chase and chomp their way through the cast, but this prehistoric nightmare played strategic mind games. The T-Rex demonstrated what scientists call problem-solving behavior, which is absolutely terrifying when applied to keeping humans trapped. It's like if Jaws had locked the orca in a garage and swallowed the keys.
They were eaten.
By what, Mr. Thrust?
As far as we know, it was Tyrannosaurus.
Number 9. The two guys in a horse-suit dinosaurs. While the T-Rex got the premium Subaraya Productions treatment with sophisticated articulation and detail, the other dinosaurs required some seriously old-school movie magic to bring them to life. The Triceratops and the bizarre Uintatherium, a prehistoric mammal that looked like a rhinoceros designed by committee, were both brought to life using the classic British pantomime horse technique. This literally meant two stunt performers crammed into one increasingly hot and uncomfortable suit for hours at a time. One guy operated the front legs and head mechanisms, while his partner worked the back end, tail, and tried not to step on his colleagues' heels during action sequences. It's the exact same trick that British Christmas pantos use for their comedy horses, except these horses weighed several tons, had horns or frills, and needed to look genuinely threatening on camera. Between takes, you had to wonder who got stuck being the rear end, and whether they drew straws for it. This production technique was pure practical effects ingenuity, born from budget constraints.
The media are all here, see? The networks, the wire services, London, New York, the whole smear.
Number 8. Hazel the Cavewoman Alley. The expedition crew wasn't wandering this lost world completely alone against the elements and prehistoric predators. They befriended a local cavewoman they nicknamed Hazel, played with genuine warmth by Masumi Sekiya, who became their essential guide to survival in this harsh environment. She knew which plants were edible and which were poisonous, where fresh water flowed through the volcanic terrain, how to track game, and most importantly, how to avoid the really angry dinosaurs that considered humans a convenient snack. In one surprisingly memorable and tender scene, Hazel helps photographer Frankie wash her hair in a jungle stream. A genuine moment of cross-cultural bonding that showed humanity transcends time periods and language barriers. Of course, the T-Rex attacked mid-shampoo because nothing ruins a prehistoric spa day like a giant predator crashing through the foliage with murder on its mind. Hazel proved that prehistoric humans weren't primitive savages. They were pragmatic survivors with deep environmental knowledge who adapted to circumstances that would destroy modern people. She became the heart of the film in ways the script probably didn't originally intend.
Where I come from, everybody is. I'll tell you, you get pretty good when you're allowed only one shell for one.
Number 7. The Medieval Catapult Showdown. When your high-tech expedition runs completely out of ammunition and modern weapons fail against armored dinosaur hide, what do? You go full medieval warfare. In the film's climactic battle sequence, Maston Thrust and his increasingly desperate crew construct an enormous siege catapult to hurl massive boulders at the charging Tyrannosaurus. Picture Army of Darkness meets Jurassic Park, except this happened 16 years before Sam Raimi's cult classic and 15 years before Spielberg's groundbreaking film. The scene perfectly captured the film's gonzo spirit and willingness to throw logic out the window. Billionaire hunter, stranded in a prehistoric valley, building ancient siege weapons from tree trunks and vine rope. The engineering montage showed them testing trajectories, calculating angles, and generally treating dinosaur hunting like it was the siege of Jerusalem. Sometimes the best answer to millions of years of evolution is ancient engineering techniques that haven't changed since the Romans. It's also a testament to human ingenuity that when you strip away technology, we immediately default to, let's throw big rocks at the problem.
Kind of suspended.
What's that?
Number 6. The gun-toting photographer who earned respect. Joan Van Ark starred as Francesca Frankie Banks, a Pulitzer Prize-winning photographer determined to join the male-dominated expedition into unknown territory. But she didn't charm her way aboard with batting eyelashes or playing the helpless woman card. She won over the notoriously chauvinistic hunter Mast and Thrust by matching his encyclopedic knowledge of high-caliber rifles, ammunition types, and stopping power. They bonded over ballistics, muzzle velocity, and optimal grain weights the way other people casually talk about wine varietals or craft beer. Frankie could discuss the difference between a .375 H&H Magnum and a .458 Winchester with the same passion Thrust brought to his hunting stories. For 1977, this was a refreshingly capable female character who earned her seat at the table through genuine expertise and knowledge, not romance or tokenism. Throughout the film, Frankie handled weapons competently, took photographs under pressure, and never devolved into a screaming damsel when the dinosaurs attacked. She proved you could be both glamorous and handy with a hunting rifle, which felt revolutionary for adventure cinema of that era.
That this effort will go forward in the interest of science.
I've told you all along.
Number 5. The Lost 14 Minutes. If you caught this on ABC back in the day during its primetime premiere, you didn't actually see the full movie that was originally produced. The original Japanese theatrical release clocked in at 106 minutes of uncut dinosaur mayhem, extended character development, and probably more graphic violence. But American television networks chopped it down to a lean 92 minutes to fit commercial breaks, tone down intensity for family viewing, and meet standards and practices guidelines that were notoriously strict in the 1970s. Those missing 14 minutes contained extended action sequences, more philosophical conversations about humanity and extinction, additional dinosaur encounters, character backstory, and probably more T-Rex carnage than network censors would allow during prime time. Ironically, the complete English-language version only played theatrically in Japanese cinemas, meaning Japanese audiences got the full American dialogue with all the wild stuff intact. American audiences got the Cliff Notes version with all the really intense moments and existential dread edited into oblivion. If you've only seen the TV version, you missed nearly 15% of the actual film.
Miss Banks.
Frankie.
Frankie.
Number 4. The Silent NBA Star. The stoic Maasai tracker Bunta was portrayed by Luther Rackley, a legitimate NBA player for the New York Knicks who was exploring acting opportunities during his offseason. Here's the hilarious part that sounds like a Hollywood urban legend, but is absolutely true. Rackley accepted the role thinking he'd have actual dialogue, dramatic scenes, and character moments to show his range. He allegedly didn't discover until he was reading the full script on the plane to Japan, probably somewhere over the Pacific Ocean with no way to turn back, that Bunta was completely silent for the entire film's runtime. 0 lines of dialogue. Not even a grunt or "look out" warning. Imagine flying halfway around the world expecting your big dramatic acting break, only to learn you're essentially an expensively billed extra with better screen time. The producers apparently wanted his imposing physical presence and athletic ability for the action sequences, without bothering to give him words. Still, Rackley's dignified physical performance made Bunta memorable and gave the character a mysterious gravitas. Sometimes, silence speaks volumes, and Rackley proved that charisma doesn't require dialogue.
Prehistoric. And we are going to find it.
Number 3. The Polar Borer itself. This film featured one of the coolest and most imaginative sci-fi vehicles of the entire decade, the Polar Borer, a massive laser-drilling submersible ship designed to punch through polar ice caps for deep oil exploration. It looked like a streamlined nuclear submarine crossed with a tunnel-boring machine, all polished chrome and retro-futuristic angles that screamed expensive 1970s optimism about technology. The vehicle's design suggested it could withstand crushing ice pressure, extreme temperatures, and somehow navigate underground with pinpoint GPS accuracy decades before GPS existed. The rotating laser drill on the nose could supposedly cut through solid rock, and the interior featured all the wood-paneled luxury of a corporate jet. When the crew accidentally breached into that hidden volcanic valley, the borer transformed from their technological marvel into both their lifeline home and their prison. Because remember, the genius T-Rex literally hid it in a canyon to trap them permanently. Few movie props combined practical engineering aesthetics with actual plot importance this effectively. The polar borer felt real enough that you believed a billionaire could actually build one.
What is the rifle for? I thought we weren't taking any weapons on the hunt.
Number 2. The Godzilla connection. Here's a secret connection that links two monster movie legends across different franchises and studios. The film's terrifying Tyrannosaurus wasn't operated by just any random stunt performer in a rubber suit. It was Toru Kawai, the legendary suit actor who had played Godzilla himself in Terror of Mechagodzilla just 2 years earlier in 1975. Kawai brought all his experience making giant monsters feel alive and threatening to this prehistoric predator. The suit itself was masterfully engineered by Tsuburaya Productions, the special effects wizards and masters behind the entire Godzilla franchise since 1954. That T-Rex looked so convincing and moved so fluidly that Tsuburaya didn't want to waste the investment. They recycled it as the villain Ururu in 2 different Japanese television series, Dinosaur War Isenborg and Dinosaur Squadron Poseidon. This single dinosaur suit had more screen time across multiple productions than most character actors manage in their entire careers. When you watch The Last Dinosaur, you're literally watching Godzilla's stunt double playing a different monster. That's the kind of cost-effective creativity that defined Japanese special effects production.
Are you alright?
Yeah, fine.
This place exceeds all of my expectations.
Number 1. The existential ending that changed everything. Most adventure movies end with everyone miraculously escaping to safety, celebrating survival, and returning home to ticker tape parades. Not this one, not even close. After the crew successfully repairs the damaged polar borer and prepares to drill back through the ice to civilization, protagonist Maston Thrust makes an absolutely wild choice that shocked TV audiences. He refuses to leave and stays behind in the prehistoric valley forever. When Frankie desperately pleads with him to abandon this death wish and return with them, Thrust looks at the T-Rex stalking in the distance and delivers one of cinema's most haunting lines. He declares that they're both relics from a bygone era, the last dinosaur and the last true hunter in a modern world that has no place for either of them. He chooses to remain in this lost world with Hazel the cavewoman, locked in eternal struggle with his prehistoric nemesis until one of them finally dies. For a made-for-TV movie airing on ABC, that's an unexpectedly dark and philosophical conclusion about obsolescence, purpose, mortality, and where you truly belong. Maston Thrust essentially commits existential suicide by choosing meaning over safety. That ending stuck with viewers because it suggested some people are born in the wrong era.
Now at 50 fathoms, approaching Earth entry. Stand by to activate lasers.
Bonus fact: the volcanic lost world. Want to know exactly how this whole crazy adventure started in the first place? The polar borer was conducting completely routine drilling operations beneath the North Pole ice cap, testing equipment and taking geological samples for oil exploration. During one of these standard test runs, the drill unexpectedly broke through into a hidden valley superheated by an active volcanic system. This massive geothermal pocket had created a stable microclimate with its own weather system that preserved an entire prehistoric ecosystem right under the polar ice caps where nobody thought to look. The premise brilliantly combined Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth with Edgar Rice Burroughs' The Land That Time Forgot, giving us one of the most creative and scientifically plausible dinosaurs survived extinction explanations in the 1970s adventure cinema. The volcanic heat explanation actually made sense from a biological standpoint. Isolated ecosystem, stable temperature, abundant vegetation. Sometimes the best science fiction hides lost worlds in the most unexpected and logical places, making you wonder if there really could be something like this waiting to be discovered. From recycled Godzilla suits to NBA players discovering they're essentially mimes, from medieval siege weapons to dinosaurs that understand imprisonment. The Last Dinosaur packed more wild creativity and genuine imagination into 92 minutes than most modern blockbusters manage in bloated 2.5-hour runtimes. This was 1977 doing what that era did best. Big ideas on modest budgets, practical effects that required genuine artistry, and storytelling that didn't talk down to audiences or assume they were stupid. Whether you remember watching this on ABC during its original broadcast or discovered it years later on worn VHS tapes at video stores, these 10 facts prove that sometimes the most memorable adventures come from the wildest production stories and the most passionate creators. Until next time, keep drilling through the ice. You never know what prehistoric world you'll find waiting underneath.